The great glorious moon. I hope someday we'll learn about its great glorious past.
Past?
Yes, little kitty. Even after all these years, scientists are still unsure about the moon's exact origin. And all we have is a few theories.
So share them.
As you say, my curious cat. Hey friends, I know you are equally curious to learn about the moon's backstory. So, in today's episode, let us shed some light on the best theories we have on the formation of the moon. Zoom in! Now, when it comes to the moon's formation, the Earth plays a significant role in its birth. Yes, in its 4.5 billion years of lifespan, planet Earth has seen several asteroids shooting towards it with great force. Some of them collided with the Earth and got destroyed, while many of them hit the surface, creating bowl-shaped depressions called craters. And most of them missed the hit and kept flying ahead in space. Though most traces of the Earth's past have long since been destroyed, but we can find clues for most of it, and that's why scientists have come up with different theories about space formation, including the formation of the moon. So, let us have a look at them one after the other. Although there are various theories revolving around the formation of the moon, the following few are the most concrete and popular ones, starting with the capture theory. According to this theory, the moon was formed elsewhere in the solar system and was wandering in space aimlessly, unaware of its future. But when it came closer to our Earth, it was captured by its gravity, and since it is still stuck in the gravitational field of our planet. The next popular theory is called the accretion theory. This theory suggests that the moon was created along with the Earth during its formation, but this notion died out quickly as it could not define the speed of the moon. Another popular theory is called the fission scenario. According to this theory, the Earth was spinning so fast around its axis that a small part of it broke away and began revolving around the planet. But again, we didn't have much evidence to prove this idea. And soon we came up with the most concrete and widely accepted theory, which is the giant impact theory. Yes, according to the giant impact theory, millions of years ago, even before the Earth and the Moon, there existed proto-Earth and Theia, a planet almost the size of Mars. One day, when these two bodies collided with each other, and due to the explosion of heat, the proto-Earth and Theia melted only to form as a new giant body that we today known as the planet Earth. Only the small part of the two planets collected near the Earth's orbit, which with time formed into the moon that revolves around our planet. Trivia time! Did you know the size of our moon is almost equivalent to that of the size of the planet Mars? Also, you won't believe it, but the moon's surface is actually dark. Hope you learned something new today. Until next time, it's me, Dr. Binocs, zooming out. Let's go home, kitty. Hope someday someone will find the real story behind the moon's formation. Never mind. Ah, look at this, Kitty. Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
But Moon, where you are?
Ha 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 ha! Moon is right here, little kitty. It's just that we can't see it.
Is Moon John Cena?
Ha ha ha! Hey friends, I know, just like little kitty, you must be curious to solve the mystery behind our moon's superpowers. So, in today's episode, let me take you through the different phases of the moon and shed some light on the reasons behind it. Zoom in! Hey friends, every time you look up in the sky at night, you see the silver moon shining bright, illuminating the earth from its light. Not only that, but the moon also seems to have magical powers to change its shape and can willingly appear and disappear. But the matter of fact is, like any magic trick, this is an illusion as well. Yes, my dear friends, you will be surprised to know that the moon doesn't emit light itself, and the moonlight we see is actually the sun's light reflected off the lunar surface. Yes, this sunlight is also responsible for the moon's transformation from the new moon to the full moon and back again, under the process we call the lunar cycle or the phases of the moon. But the vital question is, how does it happen? So, let us have a good look at it. You see, as we know, the moon revolves around the earth at a fixed orbit and does not have its own light. So, when the moon is exactly in the middle of the earth and the sun, it becomes nearly invisible in the night sky, as the side facing the earth does not get the sunlight. This invisible phase of the moon is called the new moon. But as the moon continues to orbit and moves a little ahead in the waxing phase, after 2 or 3 days, some light from the sun starts to fall on some of its part, which makes the moon appear in a crescent shape in the phase called the waxing crescent. And as the moon continues its orbital journey, the sun's reflection keeps on increasing on the moon's surface. And in about a week, when the sun is in a 90-degree position to the moon, we could see its half-lit portion. This phase is called the first quarter. Next, in about 2 or 3 days after the first quarter, the moon is more than half full and still increasing its illuminated surface in the phase we called waxing gibbous. And in about 2 weeks after the new moon or the invisible moon, it reaches behind Earth with respect to the sun, and the full side of the moon facing the Earth gets the sunlight, due to which finally we can see the full moon. But it doesn't end there, my friends, as now comes the waning stage, where the moon starts its return journey from full moon to the invisible new moon as the light begins to decrease on its surface and it enters the waning gibbous phase. After this occurs the last quarter phase, during which the moon is once again half illuminated, but the lit area that's visible is on the decline. This is followed by the waning crescent phase, in which the moon shrinks back to a crescent that's less than half full. And finally, the moon finishes its journey in about 29.5 days and comes back between the Earth and Sun to its new moon phase, marking the completion of the lunar cycle, just to start over again. Trivia time! Did you know when the moon appears to be getting bigger, it's called waxing? And when it looks like it's getting smaller, it's called waning. Also, the word gibbous comes from the Latin for hump and has been used for centuries to describe rounded or convex shapes like swollen eyes or the back of a camel. Hope you learned something new in today's episode. Until next time, it's me, Dr. Binocs, zooming out.
John Cena?
Never mind. Hey, care to look at what I'm reading? I am reading about the lunar eclipse. Let's see what it is. Zoom in. A lunar eclipse happens when the Earth moves between the Sun and the Moon, blocking the Sun's light from reaching the Moon. Come, let's go to space and see how the lunar eclipse occurs. You see them? The Sun, the Earth, and the Moon. Look how the Moon is slowly passing from the penumbra to the umbra. Hey, stop! Stop! This is the penumbra, the region beyond the umbra. Okay, Moon. When the Moon travels to the penumbra, we see a penumbral lunar eclipse, where the Moon is faintly visible to us. When the part of the Moon is in the penumbra and a part of it is in the umbra, we see a partial lunar eclipse. And when the Moon travels to the umbra, we see a total lunar eclipse. There are times when the Moon appears to be red. Oh, don't be scared. I'll tell you how that happens. As we all know, the rays of the Sun are made up of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. When the sun rays hit the atmosphere of the Earth, most of the colors get scattered away and the color red remains, due to which we see a red or a blood moon during a total lunar eclipse. Trivia time! The word eclipse in Greek means downfall. A solar eclipse always takes place about 2 weeks before or after a lunar eclipse. So now you know quite a lot about the lunar eclipse, don't you? This is me zooming out. Tune in next time for more fun facts.
I am going to destroy the moon.
Well, it's okay for the sake of this fictional movie, little kitty. But in reality, life on Earth without the moon will go for a toss. Hey friends, I'm sure just like Kitty, you too must be wondering about the importance of the moon. So, in today's episode, let us step out on the lunar surface and answer a fascinating question. What if the moon disappeared? Zoom in! The moon, the shiny silvery natural satellite of the Earth, is the closest object to our planet. And its location is not merely a chance, but it plays a massive role in the existence of the Earth. Yes, as we know, the most basic thing the moon does for us is that it provides some light in the night. So, in case if it suddenly disappears, the first thing we will notice is that the night will get even darker. Although it will be an excellent sight to gaze at stars. However, for most of us, especially many animals, a missing moon could cause a lot of confusion. Yes, that's because nocturnal animals like owls rely on both the darkness of night and a small amount of moonlight to hunt effectively. Without any light at night, prey would likely thrive because predators would have a more challenging time gating them. In the long run, this chaos would cause an ecological imbalance, leading to the extinction of many predatory animals. Next, as we know that the moon's gravitational force is responsible for causing tides in the oceans, so people living near the oceans would find the waves reduced, because of which we won't be able to do water surfing anymore. But worse, many marine animals who depend on oceanic currents for survival will be wiped out. And the next thing to go for a toss will be our 24-hour day-night cycle. Yes, the moon's gravitational pull is solely responsible for keeping the Earth rotate round its axis for 24 hours at a suitable speed. So, without the moon, the Earth will start spinning 3 to 4 times faster than it is now, due to which a day on Earth will reduce to around 6 to 8 hours long. Not only that, while rotating at such a high speed, we would experience winds up to 480 kilometers per hour. Due to this, anything that is not attached to the bedrock will eventually fly away, especially the birds and animals. And if a shorter day and a faster atmosphere weren't enough for you to understand the importance of our moon, then how about a messed up season cycle? Yes, we experience seasons because of Earth's 23.5-degree tilted position held up by the moon. So without the moon stabilizing our tilt, it is possible that the Earth's tilt could vary drastically, eventually affecting the season and climate cycle, which will turn extreme. And lastly, it is said that the craters on the moon are the result of it shielding us from many incoming asteroids and comets. So, if the moon goes missing, many asteroids will shoot directly on the Earth's surface, which can wipe out an entire species, as we have seen in the past. So, my dear friends, next time you see the moon illuminating our dark sky, make sure to thank it for everything it does for us. Trivia time! Did you know the moon was made when a rock smashed into Earth? Also, you won't believe it, but the moon's surface is actually dark. Yes, the moonlight we see is actually the sun's light reflected off the lunar surface. Hope you learned something new in today's episode. Until next time, it's me, Dr. Binocs, zooming out. Never mind. Oh, look, little kitty. Another giant asteroid is rushing towards our solar system. I hope it changes its path.
Asteroid! Go to moon!
Oh no, little kitty. Getting our moon exploded due to natural or artificial reasons can be equally devastating for the people on Earth. Well, let me explain. Hey friends, so in today's episode, let us help Kitty to clear her doubts by answering an explosive question. What if the moon exploded? Zoom in. I know what you are thinking. Is it really possible for the moon to explode? Well, no matter how absurd the scenario might come across, you'll be shocked to know that, as noticed with other moons in our solar system, they do sometimes explode. Yes, this can happen in two ways. Either they can be struck by something big like an asteroid or a minor planet, or ripped apart by gravitational disturbances. Apart from these possibilities, even humans could play a part in its explosion. In case we managed to build a nuclear missile 600 billion times more powerful than the giant nuke ever built. Fortunately, it is implausible that our moon will explode anytime soon. But for the sake of this video, let us assume what would happen if a giant cosmic body collides with our moon and it explodes. Well, if the moon explodes, it will break into many different pieces. But what would happen next will depend upon the size of the explosion. Yes, a weak explosion with larger pieces of debris might create new moons around the Earth. As a result, instead of one large moon, we might have several smaller moons revolving around us. The remaining debris might make a set of rings around our planet just like Saturn. But it won't be a pleasant sight for us, as these orbiting rocks could often cause meteor showers on Earth. But on the other hand, if it's a massive explosion, then things might start to heat up pretty quickly, even for Earth. Yes, in that case, the moon debris will scatter around the solar system. Some will move away from Earth into infinite space, while some will shoot towards our planet due to its gravitational force. And the closer they get, the faster they'll become and come crashing into our atmosphere. Fortunately, most of the tiny debris will burn into ashes before hitting the ground, and larger pieces of rock would be traveling at a much slower speed that won't cause much damage. But these infinite showers of heated stones into our atmosphere will result in a rise in the Earth's temperature to the point that it will burn up everything. Not only that, without the stabilizing tidal drag from a single moon, the Earth's axial tilt will wobble far more than it does now. And over the next thousands of years, Earth could bend all the way past 45 degrees, so that most of one hemisphere faces the sun continuously, while the other is in constant darkness. Trivia time! Did you know there are more than 200 moons in our solar system? Yes, they revolve around most major planets except Mercury and Venus, which have no moons. Hope you learned something vital today. Until next time, it's me, Dr. Binocs, zooming out. Never mind. What are you doing, little kitty? Then, what do you plan on doing? Splitting the moon in half has its own cons, little kitty. What? Well, let me explain. Hey friends, so in today's episode, let's answer a splitting question. What if the moon split in half? Zoom in! The Earth and Moon share a harmonious relationship with each other. It's due to the Moon's locked position and gravitational force, our planet doesn't wobble and maintains its axis, which eventually helps us to have a stable climate throughout the year. Not only that, But the tides caused due to the moon's gravity allows us to maintain a proper schedule. And of course, the moon provides some light to us during nighttime. Hence, our moon is perfect the way it is and should not change. But for the sake of this video, let us explore a scenario where our moon splits in half. I know what you are thinking. Is it really possible? Well, we aren't sure about it. But what we know is that just like our Earth, the moon has several active faults known as the thrust faults. Since its formation, the moon has cooled down from its molten rock format into the one that we see today. While cooling down, the moon shrinks through the process known as thermal contraction. As the moon shrinks, its volume decreases and compresses the surface, causing high pressure on its crust, resulting in moonquakes, a lunar equivalent of an earthquake. However, the moonquake would not be able to split the moon in half. But come to think of it, if an asteroid strikes the moon on the right spot, there is a possibility that it might cause a greater impact, resulting in the split of the moon. But even so, the moon might not get split in exact half. Instead, it might shatter into pieces. But for the sake of this video, let's assume that the moon gets divided into two equal sizes and see what happens next. Well, as we know, it's only one side of the moon constantly facing the Earth. So, if the darker side gets cut away, we might not notice any change at first. Plus, the moon's gravity will not let the other side drift away, and both of them will join back together. But if these two halves manage to break the gravitational force and drift away, then in the next millions and billions of years, these two parts will turn spherical again, and the Earth will have two smaller moons. And the first thing to get affected by these two moons is the Earth's axis, as it will start to wobble, leading to extreme seasonal changes and fluctuations in temperature. Plus, as we know that the moon's position slows down the Earth's rotation, because of which we have 24 hours in a day. But with only half the moon, its weaker gravity won't be able to control the Earth's speed. As a result, one day on Earth can get as short as 15 hours. Other than that, the weaker gravity of the moon might affect the tide cycle of our oceans. This will drastically affect marine life and the essential biological functions like feeding, laying eggs, and even migrating will get difficult, resulting in their extinction. This extinction of aquatic life will eventually affect the human population, as many people depend on it for their source of income and a staple diet. But fortunately, this will probably never ever happen. So just relax and enjoy the lovely moonshine. Trivia time! Did you know the moon is moving away from us at a speed of 1.5 inches per year? Yes, that's due to the interaction of the moon's gravity with Earth's oceans. To know more about the moon, please check our videos on the moon. Hope you learned something new today. Until next time, it's me, Dr. Binocs, zooming out. Never mind. So, Senorita, tell me, what shall I do for you? Shall I climb the highest mountain, dive the deepest sea, or bring the great glorious moon for you on earth?
So cheesy.
Not just cheesy, but dangerous too, little kitty.
Why?
Well, let me explain. Hey friends, so in today's episode, let us explore a falling situation and answer a not-so-romantic question. What if the moon fell to Earth? Zoom in! So, what will happen in case the moon falls on Earth? Well, in that scenario, it will take around 1 year for the moon to touch our surface. Yes, for the first few days, all we will notice is a bit bigger and brighter moon in the sky. But on the surface, the tides in the ocean will start to get higher and higher with each passing day. And within the month, the moon will cover half the distance to the Earth, causing the tides as high as 4 meters tall, flooding the beaches and coastal region. But this is just the beginning, as in the next 4 to 5 months, these tides will grow as big as 100 meters, drowning major cities' infrastructure like roads, bridges, and houses during the high tide hours. As the moon gets closer and closer, the Earth will start to feel the pressure beneath its surface due to the moon's gravity, causing a high-magnitude earthquake and volcanic eruptions at different locations. Now, after half the year since the moon started its falling spree, it will reach a place called geosynchronous orbit, a high Earth orbit that allows satellites to match Earth's rotation. And once the moon settles there, some of the flood waters will return to the ocean as well. Now, the Earth's gravity will start to show its strength, and in the next few months, the moon's side facing the Earth will begin to extend towards our planet. This will transform its shape like an egg, causing massive moonquakes beneath its surface. And as time progresses, the moon will start orbiting the Earth faster than it rotates. Though this will lower the tides and most of them will settle back to the sea. But this faster rotation will cause even more earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, as the smoke and dust coming out of it will hide the sun, causing darkness around us. Then, the lack of sunlight and toxic gases will reduce the temperature and cause acid rain that could wipe out the plants, animals, and most humans. And after 12 months since the moon lost its spot, the oval-shaped moon will come to its final phase as it enters the Roche limit, a point where the Earth's gravitational pull will be stronger than the moon's gravity. Yes, at this stage, the moon will no longer handle the pressure and shatter into pieces, as its debris will create a ring around our planet, just like Saturn. But it won't be a pleasant sight, as these broken chunks will shower down on Earth like asteroids, burning everything that's left. But the good news is, this won't ever happen. Yes, my dear friends, for the moon to lose its orbit and fall on Earth, we need to slow down its speed, which is impossible for us. In fact, the moon's speed makes it move away from Earth at a rate of roughly 4 centimeters a year. And one day, it might go far, far away. Trivia time! Did you know the moon is not always the same distance away from Earth? Yes, that's because the orbit in which the moon rotates is not a perfect circle. Hope you learned something new today. Until next time, it's me, Dr. Binocs, zooming out. Oh, why are you shooting glue at the moon, Kitty?
Stick there.
Never mind.